All right. So this time around, I'm going to click on Add Accounts. So here's what I'd like to show you guys. So by default, when you click on your ad accounts, it's going to automatically bring you to your dashboard. This is where you see all of your campaign data. Ignore this for now. I know it's kind of, it's really sort of, it's a lot of numbers there. It's sort of in your face. But what I'd like to show you guys is this hamburger menu on the top left-hand corner. And when I scroll down to tools, you kind of see all of the different menus that you have within Ads Manager. And so there are 4 or 5 of them that I want to share with you guys primarily today. The first one I want to share with you guys is Audience Insights. This is a great research tool. What Audience Insights does is that it allows you to, it provides you with analytics on an audience that you're planning on targeting for an ad campaign. So it's going to give you insights as to, what are the likes, dislikes, gender, age range of the audience that you're planning to target. So I'll give you guys a brief example. So there are a lot of options here that you can kind of enter to really refine your target audience. I'm going to leave it general. I'm just going to, so location is all of the United States. I'm going to leave the age range as is, and I'm going to leave the gender as all. But if I wanted to, for example, get some data on people that have an interest in, let me see, the Golden State Warriors, who just won NBA championship. When I enter that as an interest, now I'm getting some information and analytics regarding people who live in the United States, are between the ages of 18 to whatever, both men and women, and that have that specific interest with Golden State Warriors. And so now I'm able to see all kinds of information about that audience. So the purpose of that is to help you better understand what your audience likes, what they dislike, what their education or income level is. So you use this in addition to something we're going to cover in the coming weeks, what your customer persona is, right? So you're going to eventually develop a customer persona. These are going to be different people who you consider to be your ideal clients. You would use this to then sort of find out more about that customer persona. Specifically, what are their likes and dislikes on Facebook? So this is what this tool is used for. Again, this was just a very brief example. You can get really in-depth and really detailed, but we don't have the time for that today. But I really encourage you guys, in fact, it'll be part of your homework to go over some of the features on Audience Insights. Let me start with George first, and I'll come back to you. Yeah. So again, I went to the hamburger menu in the top left-hand corner, and then I scroll down to All Tools. That expands the rest of the menu. And then under the Plan column, it's the first link. You're very welcome. Second question?
I wanted to ask what the percentages were of the number of all Facebook. So 38% women, 50%. What was that?
You're referring to these percentages here?
50% on the left, where it gives you a 38% of women, or 54% are on. What does that mean? All Facebook.
That is the entire Facebook universe. But we're not really, or actually no, all of Facebook in the United States, because we did put a specific location. So 62% of men, oh no, let me back up. 62% of men in the United States, 46% of men on the entire Facebook universe, all countries, all age groups, etc. Yes.
Once we create an audience on the web version, will we be able to access through the ads app? So let's say I want to create an app on the go, an ad on the go. I'm going to be able to select the audience that I created on the web version of it, right?
Yes, you can. So actually, let me piggyback off that question and show you guys the audiences menu, which again, I won't get into too much detail today, but this is where you would save audiences. So perhaps you created an audience with specific targeting criteria, and now you're saving them because you know you're going to utilize this same audience for future campaigns. So this audiences menu is where you would see a list of all the audiences that you've saved. either because they're a custom audience that you created that you know you're going to use for future campaigns, whether it's an audience that you created from your email list, whether it's an audience that you created based on them visiting your page and certain actions or behaviors you did on your page. You guys are going to learn in the coming weeks how to create audiences based off all of those things, and then they'll all be saved and stored in the audiences menu. So you can always select them for campaigns. Question?
From the interest tab from before, is it taking data from people who search up Golden State Warriors or people who like?
A lot of variables both to answer your question. So that can turn into a pretty long conversation, but Facebook utilizes multiple variables to determine that you have an interest on those items or topics. One of them being just simply liking the page on Facebook. It could also be based on your search within Facebook or website visits. So lots of different things. Other questions on audiences? Again, I just want you guys to know where it's found, how to create them. You guys are going to learn very soon.
And sorry, how did you get to that where you have all the list of audiences?
So everything that I'm showing you today can be found from the hamburger menu on the top left-hand corner. Then when I click on all tools, it expands all the other columns. And then the audiences that I just showed you is found under the assets column, and it's the first link. So let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think Facebook would consider an audience an asset, in addition to sort of some of the other creative assets like videos and images?
When you're posting an ad, if you're condensing your target market, there's a better chance that person will learn more or contact us. There's more chance. If it goes to everyone, not everyone's going to care about what you're.
So the likelihood that your ads will perform better,
yeah.
A higher likelihood that your ads will perform better. Any other thoughts or insights on that?
It's one of the most valuable things you would have in business.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's absolutely right. So, yikes. It is. It's who's. One of the features you're going to learn soon enough is how to upload email lists into Facebook. That can be an email list of people that have already purchased from you. It could be an email list of people that are on your email list. So it becomes a very valuable asset to you as a business, because one of the things you're going to learn in the coming weeks is how to create a lookalike audience. So that's one of the most powerful tools that Facebook has, because what it does is that it creates a lookalike of people that share similar attributes to the people on your email list, for example. So if you upload an email list of people that have purchased from you in the past, Facebook is going to find other people on Facebook that have similar attributes, and the likelihood that they're also going to be interested in your product or service is higher than a cold audience that you build just off of targeting attributes, for example. Does that make sense? So thank you. Yeah, great question. Thank you for your response. So assets, audiences. The next thing I'd like to show you guys under measure and report is pixels. So we're gonna have have we all installed our pixel yet? For the most part, or some of us, if we haven't, we'll get it done before the end of tonight. But again, the pixel, you guys downloaded the pixel helper. So what that does is, just the pixel overall is just essentially a snippet of code. We're going to get into it in more detail in a moment, which allows you to kind of track visits to your website. So you're then able to retarget, remarket to people who have visited your website in the past, and it also tracks other actions. But for the most part, this section is where you're going to be able to analyze data related to those website visits. You'll be able to see what are the specific pages that people visited, and how many times they visited it. You'll be able to see graphs that sort of demonstrate if there were certain days where you had more visits. A lot of information that's going to help you better create a custom audience or understand when your website is getting most of the traffic, most of the engagement, based on the data that the pixel brings back. So again, this is just a brief preview. More that you guys are not going to have data until you've installed your pixel and you've ran campaigns. So to begin with, you may not have a lot of data, but more than anything, I wanted you guys to see where it's located, so that once you do have campaigns up and running, you'll be able to reference this page. So again, I went to the measure and report column, And then under Events Manager, it's the first link, pixels. Lastly, I want to show you guys billing. So billing is where you're going to see how much money you've spent within a certain period of time for your ads, how much is due, and when it's due. Where's the due date on this guy? Well, the date that it was billed. Well, actually, the due date will be in here. I'll show you guys. If you go to payment settings, and the other thing I want to show you guys is within the payment settings, which I just clicked on. So this is where you'll be able to add what credit cards or what debit or credit card you want to add to your ad account. So that is the one that'll be charged every time it's time to pay the bill for your ad account. You'll see your due date up above here and how much is due by that date. But there's a really great feature here which really allows you to control your budget for ads. And you're able to create a spending limit. So what happens is once you've reached that spending limit, this is your overall spending limit. It's not tied to a specific campaign or a specific ad, because you can have multiple ads running at the same time, or maybe not at the same time, but within a given time frame. Once you've reached that cap, that spending cap, whatever it is, your ads will stop running. So it really allows you to control the liability and how much you're going to be spending on your campaigns. So it's something you definitely want to look into, especially since you're just kind of getting started. You don't want to make any costly or expensive mistakes. So it might be something to consider doing now while you're learning, to make sure that you don't go above a certain threshold on your advertising budgets. Questions? Yes. Absolutely. So from the top, from the hamburger menu, I went all the way to the right to settings, which opened up the billing menu. From the billing menu, I clicked on payment settings. And then here I see how much is due, when it's due, the credit or debit cards associated to my account, and then the spending limit at the bottom. Yes.
So I saw that it's also linked to the Instagram ads.
Yes. Yeah, so whatever you've spent on Instagram ads that'll all be settled using whatever credit card you have associated to your ads account. All right, guys, that is all the time I have. Again, I'll post a video for this on Google Classroom, so you guys will be able to reference this again on your own time. Any final questions before I stop screen sharing? All right.